Chosen one, stop scrolling, pause your thoughts, and let this moment anchor you. This is not a coincidence. You weren't meant to stumble upon this message. You were led here by a divine hand, a sacred pull that knows your name. The heavens are stirring, and a holy urgency is sweeping through the unseen, whispering that your time is limited, not in a way that confines you, but in a way that liberates you. This is your divine moment, a fleeting window where God's plan for your life is officially available, but it won't linger forever. Picture a radiant scroll unfurling in the skies, your destiny written in shimmering light, waiting for you to claim it. The question isn't whether you're worthy. You are chosen. The question is whether you'll step forward before the moment passes. This video unveils a unique truth. The fears holding you back, the doubts that keep you small, are not obstacles, they're the very keys to your greatest breakthrough. Every sleepless night, every tear you've shed in silence, every moment you wondered if God forgot you, was not a punishment but a preparation. Imagine a potter shaping clay, pressing and molding it under fire. That's been you. Refined, not rejected. The struggles you've faced, the bills that piled up, the dreams that felt too big, the relationships that drained you, they weren't random. They were divine assignments, carving out space in your soul for the abundance God is ready to pour. Philippians 4:19 declares, "My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." This isn't a distant promise, it's a present reality, and it's knocking at your door right now. Feel that stirring in your chest? That's not anxiety, it's anticipation. Heaven is aligning resources, people, and opportunities to meet you where you stand. But here's the sacred truth. Divine provision requires your participation. God's plan for your prosperous life isn't a passive gift, it's a partnership. Picture a golden door with your name carved in light, standing ajar. You must choose to walk through it. The world will tell you to wait, to play it safe, to shrink your dreams to fit your bank account. But the Creator of the universe says, now is your time. Isaiah 60:22 promises, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. That time is now, chosen one, and it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving in a life of overflowing blessings. Let's talk about your fears for a moment. You've worried about money, about whether you're enough, about whether your dreams are too big for your reality. Maybe you're staring at a stack of bills, wondering how they'll get paid. Maybe you're hesitant to start that business, write that book, or mend that relationship because failure feels too heavy. But what if those fears aren't chains? What if they're signposts pointing you to the exact places where your spiritual awakening begins? Think of David facing Goliath. His fear didn't disqualify him, it positioned him for victory. 1 Samuel 17 verse 45 reminds us, David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." Your fears are your Goliath, and God is handing you the stones to slay them. Let me share a story to make this real. There was a woman named Sarah, a single mother in her late 30s who worked 2 jobs to keep her family afloat. She dreamed of opening a small bakery, a vision she'd carried since childhood, but fear of failure kept her stuck. Bills piled up and her confidence waned. One night, exhausted and praying through tears, she felt a quiet nudge to write down her dream. She hesitated but grabbed a notebook and scribbled, "Open Sarah's Sweet Haven by next year." That simple act shifted something. The next week, a co-worker mentioned a local grant for small businesses. Sarah applied, doubting she'd qualify. To her shock, she received $10,000, 0 cents. Not enough to solve everything, but enough to start. Today, her bakery thrives, employing others and feeding her community. Sarah's fear didn't stop her. It led her to her divine purpose. Your story isn't so different, chosen one. Your fears are the map to your breakthrough. If this message is stirring your soul, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks to help us spread the truth of divine provision to more chosen ones like you. Your generosity keeps this light shining. Now, let's get practical. God's plan for your financial freedom and personal transformation isn't a vague hope. It's a blueprint you can start building today. Here are 3 specific, actionable steps to step into your destiny now. First, write down one clear goal for this week. It could be starting a project, applying for a job, or saving $50.00. Make it specific, like, I will draft the first chapter of my book by Friday. Second, reach out to someone who inspires you. Call a mentor, message a friend, or connect with someone whose faith or success lifts you up. Say, I'd love to hear your story. Their wisdom will spark your courage. Third, take one bold step toward your dream. Register that business name, sign up for that course, or declutter your workspace to make room for new ideas. These steps aren't random, they're seeds planted in faith, and God will water them. Don't let these steps overwhelm you. They're simple but sacred. Picture yourself planting a seed in fertile soil, knowing the harvest is already promised. Deuteronomy 28:12 says, "The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to bless all the work of your hands." Your hands are moving now, chosen one, and heaven is watching. These 3 steps, writing a goal, connecting with someone, and taking a bold action, are your agreement with God's promise. Don't add more steps or overcomplicate it. These are enough to start the divine flow of abundance. Now, let's address the urgency. This moment, this message, is a divine appointment, but it's not permanent. Imagine a train pulling into the station, its doors open, ready to carry you to your prosperous life. You must board now, or it will move on. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about divine timing. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heaven. Your season of waiting is over, but your season of action is fleeting. The opportunities aligning for you, whether it's a job, a relationship, or a creative spark, require your response. Hesitation is the enemy of destiny. You might be thinking, but what if I'm not ready? What if I fail? Let me remind you of Moses, who doubted his ability to lead. In Exodus 4:10, he said, "I am slow of speech and tongue." Yet God didn't choose him for his eloquence. He chose him for his obedience. Your limitations don't disqualify you. They qualify you for God's strength. Your divine purpose isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Every time you've fallen, you've risen stronger. Psalm 37:24 assures us, "Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand." You're upheld now, chosen one, and your breakthrough is closer than you think. If this message resonates, type "I am claiming my divine moment" in the comments below. Let heaven see your faith, and let this community of chosen souls stand with you. Your comment isn't just words. It's a prophetic act, declaring that you're ready for your destiny. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and join thousands of believers by subscribing to Stay Connected to Your Faith Journey. But what if the fear you're facing is the very doorway to your divine provision? Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind whispering courage, and a bridge of light appearing before you. That's where you are now, chosen one, and the next step is yours to take. That bridge of light stretches before you, chosen one, shimmering with the promise of your divine purpose. It's not a fantasy. It's a path carved by the hand of God, leading you to a life of abundance and impact. But as you stand at its edge, you might feel the weight of what's behind you. The doubts that whisper you're not enough. The memories of doors that closed. The voices that told you to settle. Let me tell you something sacred. Those aren't burdens holding you back. They're the very fuel propelling you forward. Every rejection was a redirection. Every delay was a divine setup. Picture a tapestry being woven in heaven. Each thread of your pain, your perseverance, your quiet faith, stitching together a masterpiece that's about to be unveiled. Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." You are called, and this moment is where your purpose begins to shine. Let's make this vivid. Imagine a woman named Daniel, a 45-year-old teacher who always felt a pull to write a book about her journey through grief after losing her husband. For years, fear of judgment kept her silent. Who would read it, she thought. I'm no author. But one evening, during a quiet prayer, she felt a surge of courage, like a warm light filling her chest. She grabbed a pen and wrote the title, Healing Through the Storm. That small act wasn't just a moment, it was a movement. The next day, she shared her idea with a colleague who connected her to a local writers' group. Within months, Daniel had a manuscript, and a small publisher offered her a deal. Her book now sits on bedside tables, comforting others through their pain. Daniel's fear didn't stop her. It guided her to her divine assignment. Your fear, chosen one, is doing the same. It's not a wall, it's a window to your wealth creation and spiritual awakening. You see, God's plan for your prosperous life isn't about erasing fear, it's about transforming it. Fear is the raw material of faith. When you feel that knot in your stomach, that hesitation before a big decision, it's not a sign to retreat, it's a signal to advance. Think of Peter stepping out of the boat onto the water in Matthew 14:29. The waves were real, the wind was fierce, but Jesus was there saying, "Come." Your waves. Whether they're financial stress, self-doubt, or uncertainty, are just as real, but Jesus is calling you too. Your divine provision isn't on the shore, it's in the step you take toward the impossible. That step could be one of the 3 actions we talked about: writing your goal, connecting with someone who lifts you, or taking a bold move toward your dream. Those steps are your come, your agreement with heaven's invitation. Now, let's talk about the urgency again, but from a new angle. This isn't just about a moment passing. It's about a momentum building. Picture a river swelling after a long drought, its currents ready to carry you to new horizons. That river is your faith journey, and it's flowing now, but you must jump in. Hesitation is like standing on the bank, watching the water rush by, the opportunities God is aligning, a conversation that sparks a partnership, an idea that births a business, a connection that heals a wound. Require your movement. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Committing isn't waiting for perfection, it's acting in faith, trusting God to shape the outcome. Your time is limited not because God's grace runs out, but because this season of divine alignment is a rare convergence of heaven's will and your readiness. You might wonder, what makes me special? Why am I chosen? Let's settle that now. You're not chosen because of your resume, your bank account, or your past victories. You're chosen because God saw you before you were born. As Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Your uniqueness isn't in what you've done, it's in who you are, a vessel of divine light, wired to carry a purpose that shifts atmospheres. Maybe you're a teacher like Daniel, or a parent pouring love into your kids, or an entrepreneur with a vision no one else sees. Your calling doesn't need to look big to the world, it just needs to be true to God's design. That's what makes you a chosen one, and that's why this message found you. Let's paint another picture. Imagine a man named Marcus, a 30-year-old mechanic who always felt out of place in his small town. He loved fixing cars, but his heart burned to mentor young men who, like him, grew up without a father. Fear of failure kept him quiet, until he acted on a nudge to reach out to his pastor. That conversation led to Marcus starting a weekly meetup at his garage, where he taught teens about cars and life. Word spread, and soon local businesses donated tools and snacks. Marcus's small step didn't just change him, it transformed his community. His fear of not being qualified was the doorway to his destiny. Your fear, chosen one, is just as powerful. It's not a stop sign, it's a starting line. Now, let's weave in some positive psychology to ground this in practicality. Studies show that taking small intentional actions like writing a goal or reaching out to a supportive person releases dopamine, boosting your motivation and confidence. That's not just science, it's God's design for your brain, wired to reward faith-filled steps. When you wrote that goal, contacted that person, or took that bold action, you didn't just check a box, you activated a cycle of courage. Psalm 138:8 says, "The Lord will vindicate me. Your love, Lord, endures forever." Your steps are vindicated, not by instant results, but by the enduring love of a God who's already gone ahead of you. You might be thinking about the people in your life, those who support you and those who don't. Some relationships feel like anchors, pulling you back to old patterns of doubt or smallness. Here's a truth. Not everyone is meant to cross this bridge with you. Picture a hot air balloon rising toward the sky. To soar, it must release sandbags. Some people, habits, or mindsets are your sandbags. Releasing them isn't betrayal, it's obedience to your divine purpose. Matthew 10:37 reminds us, "Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me." This isn't about cutting ties harshly, it's about prioritizing God's call. Your prosperous life requires space for new connections, people who see your light and fan its flame. Let's talk about prosperity, because this isn't just about money, it's about overflow in every area. Financial freedom is part of it, yes, but so is peace that steadies your heart, creativity that flows without fear, and relationships that honor your worth. Picture a garden, lush with fruit, flowers, and streams. That's your life when you align with God's plan. Abundant, not because you chased it, but because you received it. Malachi 3:10 says, "Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." Your 3 steps, writing, connecting, acting, are your test, your way of saying, "I'm ready for the floodgates." If this is igniting your spirit, type, "I am crossing the bridge to my destiny" in the comments. Let this community of chosen ones witness your commitment, and let heaven record your faith. Your words are a beacon, drawing others to their own breakthroughs. But what if the next step feels too big, too risky? What if the bridge seems to sway under the weight of your doubts? Imagine a child learning to ride a bike, wobbling but moving forward because a parent's hand steadies the seat. That's God with you now, chosen one, steadying you as you pedal toward your divine moment. That steady hand of God is guiding you, chosen one, not just to keep you from falling, but to propel you into a realm of divine momentum. Picture yourself on that bicycle, the wind rushing past, your heart pounding with a mix of exhilaration and trust. The path ahead isn't a straight line. It curves through valleys of uncertainty and climbs hills of challenge. But every pedal forward is a declaration that you're claiming your divine purpose. This isn't about reaching a finish line. It's about embracing a journey where every moment pulses with the promise of personal transformation. Psalm 32:8 assures you, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you." That loving eye is on you now, chosen one, watching as you move toward a life of overflowing blessings. Let's dive deeper into what this momentum means. You've taken those 3 sacred steps: writing your goal, connecting with someone who inspires you, and acting boldly toward your dream. These aren't just tasks, they're spiritual contracts, signed in faith, that unlock heaven's resources. Imagine a vault in the heavens filled with ideas, opportunities, and connections, all labeled with your name. Each step you take turns the key, releasing divine provision into your life. But this isn't magic, it's alignment. When you wrote that goal, you weren't just scribbling words, you were prophesying your future. When you reached out to that person, you weren't just making a call, you were building a bridge to divine connections. And when you took that bold action, you weren't just moving, you were stepping into the flow of God's plan for your prosperous life. Let's make this tangible with another story. Meet Aisha, a 28-year-old graphic designer who felt trapped in a job that drained her creativity. She dreamed of launching her own design studio, but feared leaving the security of her paycheck. One Sunday, during a church service, the pastor spoke about courage, and Aisha felt a spark. She went home and wrote, "Launch Aisha's art studio by June." The next day, she messaged a former client, nervously asking if they'd recommend her work. To her surprise, the client not only said yes, but offered a freelance project that paid double her usual rate. That project led to more, and within 6 months, Aisha left her job to run her studio full-time. Her fear of financial instability didn't block her. It pointed her to her breakthrough. Your fear, chosen one, is just as purposeful. It's not a barrier, but a beacon, guiding you to your destiny. Now, let's talk about the atmosphere around you. You've sensed it, haven't you? A shift in the air, a lightness where there was once heaviness. Maybe it's a random compliment from a stranger, an unexpected refund in your account, or a quiet moment where peace washes over you. These aren't accidents, they're divine signatures, confirming that you're in sync with heaven's rhythm. John 10:27 says, "My sheep listen to my voice, I know them and they follow me." You're hearing God's voice now, not in a booming announcement, but in the subtle nudges, the small victories, the moments that feel too perfect to be chance. This is your spiritual awakening, chosen one, and it's reshaping your reality from the inside out. But here's where it gets real. The enemy of your soul doesn't like this momentum. Picture a shadow lurking at the edge of your path, whispering lies to slow you down. "You're not ready," it says. "What if you fail? What if it's too late?" Those whispers aren't new. They're the same ones that tried to dim your light before. But you're not the same. You're armed with faith, fortified by obedience, and covered by grace. Ephesians 6:11 urges you, "Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." Your armor is on, chosen one, and it's forged from every prayer you've whispered, every step you've taken, every fear you've faced. The enemy's lies can't penetrate what God has protected. Let's explore this protection further. Imagine a shield of light surrounding you, invisible but unbreakable. This shield isn't just for defense, it's a magnet, drawing the right people, ideas, and resources to your side. Maybe it's a co-worker who suddenly offers to help with a project, or an email that lands in your inbox with an opportunity you didn't seek. These are divine appointments, orchestrated by a God who knows your needs before you speak them. Matthew 6:8 reminds you, your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. Your job isn't to chase these blessings, it's to recognize them, receive them, and steward them with gratitude. That's what it means to live in divine flow, a life where provision follows faith, not force. Now, let's talk about your vision. You've carried dreams that feel too big, too bold, too out of reach. Maybe it's a business that empowers others, a book that inspires, or a family reconciled through love. Those dreams aren't fantasies, they're blueprints, drafted in heaven before you were born. Habakkuk 2:2-3 says, "Write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, so that a herald may run with it, for the vision awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false." Your 3 steps, writing, connecting, acting, are the making it plain part. They're not the whole journey, but they're the spark that lights the fire. Your vision is alive, chosen one, and it's waiting for you to run with it. Let's paint another picture to ground this. Imagine Javier, a 50-year-old carpenter who always wanted to teach woodworking to at-risk youth. Fear of judgment. "I'm too old to start something new," kept him silent. But one day, inspired by a sermon on purpose, he wrote, "Start a woodworking class by spring." He called a local community center, expecting rejection, but they loved the idea and offered a space. His first class had 3 shy teens. Now, dozens attend, learning skills and confidence. Javier's fear didn't disqualify him. It directed him to his divine assignment. Your fear, chosen one, is doing the same. It's not a stop, but a start, pointing you to your wealth creation and impact. Now, let's shift to the community around you. You're not walking this path alone. Picture a circle of light, filled with others like you, chosen ones who felt the same fears, carried the same dreams, and heard the same call. When you typed, "I am crossing the bridge to my destiny" in the comments, you joined that circle. Your words didn't just echo in the digital void, they resonated in the heavens, uniting you with thousands who are stepping into their faith journey. Chapter Peter 2:9 declares, "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession." This community isn't just a group, it's a movement, and your presence strengthens it. Share this message with someone who needs to feel that connection, and let's grow this holy nation together. Let's talk about time, because it's not just limited, it's sacred. Every second you spend in faith is a seed planted in eternity. You might feel like you've wasted years, missed opportunities, or fallen behind, but God doesn't work on human clocks. Joel 2:25 promises, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten." Those years weren't lost. They were invested, building resilience, wisdom, and hunger for your divine purpose. Now, the harvest is ripening, and it's not just for you. It's for everyone your life will touch. Picture a field bursting with fruit, ready to feed a community. That's your legacy, chosen one, and it's growing with every step you take. But what if the path ahead feels foggy? What if you can't see the next turn? Imagine a lantern glowing in your hand, its light piercing the mist just enough to show the next step. That lantern is your faith, fueled by God's promises. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." You don't need the whole map, just the next step. And those 3 steps you've taken, writing, connecting, acting, lighting the way, revealing a path of divine provision and personal transformation that's uniquely yours. That lantern of faith in your hand, chosen one, isn't just illuminating the next step. It's casting a glow that transforms the entire landscape of your life. Picture yourself walking through a twilight forest where shadows of doubt and uncertainty once loomed large. But now, with each step, the light from your lantern reveals vibrant colors, emerald leaves, golden paths, and streams of crystal clarity. This is your faith journey unfolding, a sacred expedition where every moment of trust paints your world with the hues of divine purpose. Psalm 119:105 declares, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." God's promises are that word, guiding you not to a distant destination, but to a life of abundance that begins right here, right now. Let's deepen this vision. Your 3 steps: writing your goal, connecting with someone who inspires, and taking a bold action, are more than actions. They're keys, each unlocking a different chamber of your divine potential. When you wrote that goal, you opened a chamber of clarity, where vague dreams became tangible targets. When you reached out to someone, you unlocked a chamber of connection, inviting divine alliances into your story. And when you acted boldly, you swung wide the chamber of courage, releasing a surge of energy that propels you toward your prosperous life. These keys aren't one-time uses. They're tools you'll carry forever, each turn of the lock drawing you closer to the overflow God has prepared. Isaiah 45:2 says, "I will go before you and will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron, the mountains of fear, the gates of doubt." They're crumbling as you move. Let's ground this with a story that breathes life into this truth. Imagine Lena, a 42-year-old nurse who always felt called to advocate for mental health in her community. She'd seen too many patients struggle in silence, but fear of stepping out of her comfort zone kept her dreams small. One evening, inspired by a podcast about purpose, Lena wrote, "Start a mental health support group by 4. She hesitated but emailed a local counselor she admired, asking for advice. To her surprise, the counselor invited her to co-host a workshop. That workshop grew into a weekly group, now serving dozens who found hope through Lena's courage. Her fear of not being expert enough didn't stop her. It steered her to her divine assignment. Your fear, chosen one, is just as potent. It's not a lock, but a lever, lifting you into your breakthrough. Now let's talk about the energy you're carrying. You've felt it, haven't you? A quiet strength rising within, a sense that something bigger is at work. This isn't just emotion, it's the Holy Spirit stirring your soul to align with heaven's frequency. Picture a tuning fork, vibrating at the perfect pitch, resonating with the song of your destiny. Every time you act in faith, whether it's writing that goal, making that call, or taking that step, you're tuning your life to that divine pitch. John 16:13 promises, "But when He, the Spirit of truth, comes, He will guide you into all the truth." That guidance isn't a loud command, it's a gentle hum, felt in moments of intuition, in dreams that linger, in conversations that spark ideas. You're not guessing your way forward, you're being guided into your wealth creation and spiritual awakening. But let's address the distractions. The world is noisy, bills demand attention, social media pulls your focus, and daily routines can dull your vision. Picture a marketplace, bustling with vendors shouting for your attention, each offering trinkets that glitter but fade. Now imagine walking through that chaos, your lantern steady, your eyes fixed on a golden horizon. That's you, chosen one, learning to discern what deserves your energy. Colossians 3:2 urges, "Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." Your 3 steps are your way of setting your mind above. choosing purpose over procrastination, faith over fear, destiny over distraction. They're not about adding to your to-do list, they're about aligning your heart with eternity. Now let's make this practical. Your goal, that one specific target you wrote, isn't just a plan, it's a prayer in ink. Maybe you wrote, save $500 0 cents this month, or pitch my business idea by Friday. That goal is a seed planted in the soil of faith. Now, nurture it. Check your budget daily or draft that pitch with intention. Your connection, that person you reached out to, isn't just a contact, they're a catalyst. Follow up with a thank you note or ask a specific question to deepen the bond. And your bold action, that step you took, isn't a one-off. It's a habit. If you registered a domain for your website, now add one page. If you decluttered your desk, keep it clear. These small disciplines are the scaffolding of your divine provision, building a structure that can hold the blessings coming your way. Now let's shift to the legacy you're creating. Your divine purpose isn't just for you. It's for the lives you'll touch, the generations you'll shape. Picture a tree, its roots deep, its branches wide, offering shade to weary travelers. That's your life when you live for God's glory, rooted in faith, expansive in impact. Maybe you're a parent, teaching your kids resilience. Maybe you're an artist, creating work that inspires. Or maybe you're simply a friend, offering kindness that shifts someone's day. 2 Corinthians 9:8 says, "And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work." Your abundance isn't just for comfort, it's for contribution, turning your blessings into bridges for others. Let's bring this to life with another story. Picture Thomas, a 35-year-old barista who loved music but feared his songs would never reach beyond his bedroom. He wrote "Share one song" online this week. Nervous, he texted a friend who'd always encouraged his talent, asking for feedback. The friend not only loved the song but shared it with a local radio DJ. That share led to airplay, which led to gigs. Today, Thomas's music touches thousands, not because he chased fame, but because he honored his divine spark. His fear of rejection didn't silence him, it sharpened his voice. Your fear, chosen one, is just as creative. It's not a cage, but a canvas, ready for God's masterpiece. Now, let's talk about the unseen battles. You've felt them. Moments when discouragement hits without warning, when progress feels slow, when old wounds resurface. Picture a warrior in ancient armor, standing firm against unseen arrows. That's you, chosen one, not fighting flesh and blood, but spiritual forces, as Ephesians 6:12 describes. These battles aren't signs you're failing, they're proof you're advanced. The enemy doesn't attack what's insignificant, he targets what's destined for greatness. Your 3 steps are your weapons, not because they're grand, but because they're grounded in obedience. Every time you act despite fear, you're winning a victory in the spirit, clearing the path for your financial freedom and personal transformation. Let's explore the joy waiting on the other side of this battle. Imagine a festival, filled with laughter, music, and light. That's the emotional reality God is inviting you into. A life where joy isn't fleeting but foundational. Psalm 16:11 says, "You make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence." Your 3 steps are paving that path, not just to success, but to a soul-deep gladness that no circumstance can steal. Maybe it's the relief of a paid bill, the thrill of a new idea, or the warmth of a reconciled friendship. These are glimpses of the joy God is weaving into your story, a foretaste of the prosperous life He's promised. If this message is sparking hope in your heart, type "I am walking in divine joy" in the comments. Let this community of chosen ones celebrate your faith and let heaven amplify your declaration. Your words are a signal, inviting more of God's light into your journey. Share this with someone who needs to feel that joy, and join thousands of believers by subscribing to stay anchored in your divine purpose. But what if the joy feels distant, hidden behind layers of stress or doubt? Imagine a treasure chest buried in sand, waiting for you to dig. That's your joy, chosen one, not gone but guarded, ready to be unearthed as you trust God's timing and take the next faithful step. That treasure chest of joy, buried just beneath the surface, is closer than you think, chosen one. Picture yourself kneeling on a sun-warmed beach, your hands sifting through soft sand, each scoop revealing glints of gold. The stress, the doubt, the weight of unanswered questions, they're the grains you're brushing away, and with every faithful step, you're uncovering the radiant joy God has hidden for you. This isn't a fleeting emotion, it's a divine deposit, a wellspring of peace and delight that flows from your alignment with His purpose. Nehemiah 8:10 declares, "The joy of the Lord is your strength." That strength is rising in you now, chosen one, fueling your faith journey and illuminating the path to your prosperous life. Let's deepen this image. Your 3 steps: writing your goal, connecting with someone who inspires, and taking a bold action, are the tools you're using to dig. When you wrote that goal, you weren't just planning, you were claiming a piece of your destiny, scraping away the sand of indecision. When you reached out to that person, you weren't just networking, you were inviting divine collaboration, clearing the debris of isolation. And when you acted boldly, you weren't just moving, you were unearthing the courage that reveals your divine provision. These steps are your shovel, your map, your compass, simple yet sacred, guiding you to the treasure of joy that God has promised. Isaiah 55:12 says, "You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song before you." The mountains of your challenges are singing now, chosen one, because you're moving in faith. Let's make this real with a story. Picture Emily, a 33-year-old librarian who always dreamed of hosting a storytelling festival for kids in her struggling neighborhood. Fear of rejection kept her silent. Nobody funds frivolous projects, she thought. But one night, praying under a starlit sky, she felt a nudge to act. She wrote, "Organize a storytelling festival by summer." The next day, she called a local bookstore owner she'd met once, nervously pitching her idea. The owner loved it and offered to co-sponsor. That call led to donations, volunteers, and a small grant. Emily's festival drew hundreds, sparking joy in kids who'd never felt celebrated. Her fear didn't bury her dream, it unearthed her purpose. Your fear, chosen one, is just as powerful. It's not a weight but a wedge, prying open the chest of your divine purpose. Now, let's talk about the rhythm of your life. You've noticed it, haven't you? A new cadence, a pulse that feels both urgent and calm. It's like a heartbeat, steady yet alive, syncing your steps with heaven's timing. This rhythm isn't random. It's the tempo of your spiritual awakening, orchestrated by a God who knows when to pause and when to surge. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Your 3 steps are part of this beauty, each one a note in the symphony of your destiny. Maybe you wrote a goal to exercise 3 times this week and you're feeling stronger. Maybe you connected with a mentor and their advice sparked clarity. Maybe you took a bold step, like applying for a promotion, and you're sensing favor. These aren't isolated moments, they're chords, harmonizing to create a melody of abundance. But let's address the interruptions. Life doesn't always play along with your rhythm. Unexpected bills, family drama, or a sudden wave of self-doubt can feel like a discordant note jarring your flow. Picture a musician on stage hitting a wrong key but weaving it into the song, turning a mistake into magic. That's you, chosen one, learning to integrate life's disruptions into your divine narrative. Romans 8:37 assures you, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Your 3 steps are your way of conquering, not by avoiding interruptions, but by using them as opportunities to trust God deeper. That bill? It's a chance to practice faith. That drama? It's a call to set boundaries. That doubt? It's an invitation to speak truth over your soul. Let's explore this truth speaking. Your words carry power, chosen one. Not just the words you comment or share, but the ones you speak to yourself in quiet moments. Picture a garden where every word is a seed. Words like, I can't, I'm stuck, or it's too late, plant weeds that choke your growth. But words like, I am chosen, God is with me, or my breakthrough is coming, sow flowers that bloom into blessings. Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Your 3 steps are rooted in this power. When you wrote your goal, you spoke life over your vision. When you connected with someone, you planted seeds of community. When you acted boldly, you declared victory over fear. Keep speaking life, chosen one, because your words are shaping your wealth creation. Let's bring this to life with another story. Imagine Malik, a 29-year-old delivery driver who dreamed of starting a podcast about faith and resilience. Fear of not having a big enough story kept him silent. But one morning, inspired by a sunrise prayer, he wrote, "Record my first episode by next week." He texted a friend who dabbled in audio editing, asking for tips. The friend offered to help produce the episode. Malik's bold step was posting it online, despite shaky nerves. That episode, raw and real, went viral in his community, inspiring listeners to share their own stories. Malik's fear didn't silence him, it amplified his voice. Your fear, chosen one, is just as amplifying. It's not a mute button, but a megaphone, broadcasting your divine purpose. Now, let's talk about the spaces you occupy. Your home, your workplace, your mind. They're not just backgrounds. They're sanctuaries, places where God's presence dwells. Picture a room bathed in golden light, every corner radiating peace. That's what your life becomes when you invite God into your spaces. Maybe your desk is cluttered with reminders of stress, or your mind is crowded with worries. Your 3 steps are a way to declutter, creating room for divine provision. Writing. Your goal clears mental space for focus. Connecting with someone invites light into your relationships. Acting boldly transforms your environment into a stage for miracles. 1 Corinthians 3:16 reminds you, don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple, and that God's Spirit dwells in your being? You're a temple, chosen one, and your spaces are holy ground. Let's talk about the people watching you. Not in a creepy way, but in the way others notice your shift. Maybe a coworker sees your new confidence, or a friend senses your peace. You're becoming a beacon, not because you're perfect, but because you're persistent. Picture a lighthouse, its beam cutting through fog, guiding ships to safety. That's you, chosen one, shining God's light through your faith. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Your 3 steps are your light, small but steady, drawing others to God's glory. You're not just living for yourself, you're leading others to their own breakthroughs. If this message is stirring your soul, type, "I am shining God's light" in the comments. Let this community of chosen ones see your glow, and let heaven magnify your impact. Share this with someone who needs to shine, and join thousands of believers by subscribing to Stay Rooted in Your Divine Purpose. But what if the fog of life feels too thick, the path too unclear? Imagine a compass in your pocket, its needle unwavering, pointing true north, no matter the storm. That's God's truth, chosen one, guiding you through the haze with a promise that your next step is already blessed. That compass of God's truth, chosen one, is steady in your pocket, its needle pointing not just to a direction, but to a destiny, brimming with divine purpose. Picture yourself in a vast desert, stars blazing above, the air cool and alive with possibility. The sand beneath your feet shifts, but your compass holds firm, guiding you toward an oasis where streams of abundance flow freely. This is your journey now, a sacred pilgrimage where every step, guided by faith, uncovers new layers of your spiritual awakening. Psalm 25:4-5 says, "Show me your ways, Lord, teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me, for you are God, my Savior." That guidance is active, chosen one, leading you not just to survive, but to thrive in a life of overflowing blessings. Let's explore what this oasis looks like. It's not a mirage of temporary relief. It's a wellspring of provision, peace, and purpose. Your 3 steps: writing your goal, connecting with someone who inspires, and taking a bold action are the buckets you're using to draw from this well. When you wrote that goal, you dipped into clarity, pulling up a vision that sparkles with intention. When you reached out to someone, you drew out connection, quenching the thirst of isolation. And when you acted boldly, you tapped into courage, releasing a stream of divine momentum. These steps aren't chores, they're rituals, each one filling your life with the resources of heaven. Isaiah 58:11 promises, "The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame." Your frame is strengthening now, chosen one, ready to carry the weight of your prosperous life. Let's bring this to life with a story. Imagine Clara, a 39-year-old office manager who always felt called to mentor young women in her church. Fear of not being qualified kept her silent. She wasn't a pastor or a counselor, just a woman with a heart for others. One evening, during a quiet moment of prayer, she wrote, "Start a mentorship group by next month." Hesitant, she texted a friend who led a women's ministry, asking for guidance. The friend invited her to share her vision at the next meeting. Clara's bold step was leading a small group of 5 women, sharing her story of overcoming doubt. That group grew, and now Clara mentors dozens, her voice a lifeline for others. Her fear didn't disqualify her, it directed her to her divine assignment. Your fear, chosen one, is just as guiding. It's not a drought but a divining rod, pointing you to your breakthrough. Now, let's talk about the rhythm of provision. You felt it, haven't you? A subtle flow like a river picking up speed, carrying you toward opportunities you didn't chase. Maybe it's a job offer that seems too good to be true, a kind word that lifts your spirit, or an idea that sparks in the middle of the night. This flow isn't random, it's the pulse of God's plan, syncing your life with His abundance. John 7:38 says, "Whoever believes in me, as Scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them." Your 3 steps are channels for this river, opening pathways for divine provision to pour through. Writing your goal sets the course. Connecting with someone widens the stream, and acting boldly releases the flood. You're not chasing provision, you're channeling it, chosen one, into every corner of your life. But let's address the dryness you've faced. There have been seasons when the well seemed empty, when prayers felt unanswered, when resources dwindled, when hope flickered. Picture a seed buried in parched soil, waiting for rain. That seed was you, chosen one, planted in faith, enduring the dry spell, not to wither but to grow stronger roots. Those moments weren't abandonment, they were cultivation. Galatians 6:9 encourages, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Your harvest is budding now, chosen one, because you didn't give up. Your 3 steps are the rain, breaking the drought and bringing forth a yield of wealth creation and personal transformation. Let's make this practical. Your goal, that one clear intention you wrote, is a living thing. Maybe you wrote, pay off $1,000 0 cents of debt this year. Check your progress weekly, even if it's just $20 0 cents saved. That connection you made, that person you reached out to, is a bridge to growth. Send them a follow-up message, perhaps sharing a small win or asking a question to deepen the bond. Your bold action, that step you took, is a spark that needs fanning. If you signed up for a course, complete the first module. If you started a project, dedicate an hour this week to it. These actions aren't just tasks, they're declarations, telling the universe and the heavens that you're ready for your divine purpose. Now let's talk about the vision growing within you. It's not just a dream, it's a divine blueprint etched in your soul before time began. Picture a scroll, unrolled in a heavenly library, its pages glowing with plans for your life. Plans for a business that uplifts, a ministry that heals, a family restored, or a creative work that inspires. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Your 3 steps are the ink you're using to trace this blueprint, bringing it from spirit to reality. They're not the whole picture, but they're the first strokes, bold and deliberate, shaping a legacy of impact. Let's paint another picture. Imagine Noah, a 47-year-old accountant who always wanted to open a community garden in his urban neighborhood. Fear of failure, what if nobody cares, kept him stuck. But one day, inspired by a sermon on stewardship, he wrote, "Start a garden by spring." He called a local school principal, nervously pitching his idea. The principal offered a plot of unused land. Noah's bold step was planting the first seeds, despite doubting his green thumb. That garden now feeds families and fosters community, all because Noah trusted his vision. His fear didn't uproot his dream, it fertilized it. Your fear, chosen one, is just as nurturing. It's not a weed but a nutrient, feeding your divine purpose. Now, let's talk about the people drawn to your light. As you move in faith, you're becoming a magnet, not just for provision, but for souls who need your presence. Picture a bonfire on a chilly night, its warmth pulling in travelers from the cold. That's you, chosen one, radiating God's love through your courage. Maybe a co-worker asks for your advice, sensing your peace. Maybe a stranger thanks you for a small kindness that shifted their day. In Peter 4:10 says, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace." Your 3 steps are your gift in action, serving others not by preaching but by living, writing, connecting, acting with intention that ripples outward.